Today on To The Point, we're throwing it back to season 13, So You Think You Can Dance.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome on in To The Point with Kristen Burt. I am so excited you guys are joining me today because I love taking a look back at season 13 of So You Think You Can Dance. And one of the top 10 contestants is right here to my left, Sheaden Gabriel. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. How are you?
It's been 3 years since I've seen you.
It feels like a while, actually, like a long time.
It feels longer than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
I think in some ways it feels longer than that because if I haven't seen you guys in 3 years, you guys are now 6 inches taller than the last time I saw you.
Yeah, I've always been small for my age, and just recently I feel like I've actually grown to be somewhat my age.
You're like, I got
and
some
height.
height. You're taller than me, for sure. I'm 5'3", so I know you're taller than that. Yeah, for sure. Now, the last time I saw you, you were 11, 12?
I was, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Or just turned 12 for sure.
Just turned 12, so now you're 15?
Yes, I am 15.
Wow, okay. Well, this is amazing because the show itself, I think some people are like, why are you doing kids this summer? You know, that was a Fox decision. But the way you guys were selected by the All-Stars, all of you have gone on to great success, and it's been really fun for me to watch what you guys are all up to.
Yeah.
So let's throw it back a little bit, because what inspired you to audition for the show? Because I know that like every dancer kind of in the 8 to 13 category auditioned.
Yeah, for sure. Well, for me, dancing has always been like a passion since a young age. I started dancing just off of YouTube at like 5 years old. So I definitely felt an urge to dance right away. But actually, starting off, So You Think, Jeff came to my studio.
Jeff Thacker, we're all talking about.
He came to my studio and just talked to us, and we showed him a couple of routines of ours. And I actually didn't know for a fact that was Jeff Thacker. I just knew he did like Dancing with the Stars. I didn't actually know he did So You Think You Can Dance as well. So then a couple days after, I did something with Dietrich's, and then I saw Jeff there again. And then Jeff was like, "Oh, why are you here? I feel like I've seen you already." And I was like, "But I don't know if you've seen enough of me yet." So then starting off that, I just feel like I had to prove something to him for sure.
Right.
For So You Think. So that was like one of my motivations for So You Think too.
That's so good too, because I think Jeff did a really kind of like big extensive tour talking about the show and what it's going to be and who we're looking at, and look at all the little baby photos of you. We just put up the promo photo of you, which is so cute. Where were you studying when Jeff came to the studio at the time?
Yes, I was studying with the lab.
The lab. We know Val Ramirez very well. We've had them in here, of course, from World of Dance, and that Dietrich's, of course, has worked with them extensively. Well, what great training you've had.
Yes. I was with the lab like 5 years ago. They were my first studio to actually dance with. And then I started to become more independent as a dancer. Yeah.
But yeah, I was interested in some of the training that you guys got, because it was pretty comprehensive. Like they're like, we do some boxing and kickboxing and like a lot. It's like a dojo, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, they have a lot of variety for sure, definitely.
Fantastic. So you probably felt pretty well prepared going into the auditions for So You Think.
Well, yes and no. Definitely for my second time.
Oh, yes. Did you go to 2 different cities?
I did as well.
Do you know almost every one of you that got on the top 10 went to a second city?
It's pretty crazy, actually. So I did do the LA one, and I made it to judge cut, and I got cut by the judges. I was not really prepared at all.
What happened in that first audition?
So it was more like a freestyle for me, and I'm not a freestyle dancer. I'm definitely more of a choreo-based dancer, and so I feel like I didn't put good enough work for them to see.
Yes.
And so when I was home, and I was like, I didn't do what I wanted to do. That's not me that I put on the stage. So then I flew out to New York, and then I gave another shot.
New York. A lot of people went into Chicago, I feel like. They went to LA, and then they're like, no. They went into Chicago. It's fascinating to think that the number of you that went into a second city and then made it onto the show. So when you get to New York, was it hard to convince your mother that you wanted to go to another city, or was she like, this is okay, we'll do it?
Yeah, I think they were also one of my motivations too. They were pushing me for it as well, because it's not that I felt discouraged. I didn't feel an urge at first to go to another city, but then they definitely motivated me as well.
Okay, that's good. So you're in New York, and you get your second opportunity to audition. What was different about it?
Well, even starting off the flight, we bought the tickets that like they put us like where the extra seats are, and I felt good about it because they put us in the first class. Like,
oh,
yeah.
You're like, this is a sign.
This is a sign. I feel something here. And then we go to New York, and everything's just going great. I nail my routines, and everything just goes good, and I get the ticket.
And you go to Academy.
Yes.
Academy week, most of the contestants that I speak to are like, it's just the hardest week of the show. It's not the live shows. It's Academy week, just kind of making it through each round.
I feel that because I feel like Academy week is more like hectic because like it's just a bunch of randomness. Like when we're on top 10, it's like a week and a week and a week and a week, but we know what we're doing every week. It's more like a piece, and then we perform it. But Academy week, like you never know what's gonna happen. They could just throw a fastball at you. You don't know who's teaching. You don't know what's gonna happen. So it's just, it was a lot crazier.
Yeah, you have to kind of roll with the punches because you show up to work, or auditions, and they're like, okay, today's ballroom, and then tomorrow is contemporary, and then it's hip hop. What was the weakest round for you, and what was the easiest round?
Oh, for sure. It was crazy because like every style that I did wasn't my style. For sure. Of course, hip hop is like my main style, which I didn't really get. I feel like ballroom was definitely like the hardest for me.
Yeah.
Just because it was hard for my posture. I feel like
so hard when you're used to hip hop because it's so down in the pocket, and then all of a sudden you have to be up in frame, which is ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah. I often find a lot of people that do hip hop, when they get to the hip hop round, they say it's one of their harder rounds because it is out of their style, or if they're freestylers, all of a sudden they're doing choreography and they don't feel comfortable.
For sure. Yeah. It was crazy. It was a crazy time preparing as well for all that stuff because like I said, I was just mainly a hip-hop dancer, but then before the show I like took like ballroom, a little bit of ballet, a little contemporary, a little bit of everything, just to make sure I have just the basics down.
Yeah, you're like, what don't I know? Is there a term or something that I should know at this point? You made it onto Joshua Allen's team, and just to establish this, Joshua had to leave the show before we got to the live shows, and he was partnered Marko Germar. So just to get that out of the way. But you're on Joshua's team, so you know at least like you're in the right place. But they have to start eliminating people, round by round. When you get down to the last two, it's you and your competitor. What did you say to yourself? Like, how do you talk yourself through this?
Okay, so I was paired up with Romeo. That's who was the final two, and like he's a good friend of mine. So it was really crazy because he is a freestyle dancer. Like he's something that I'm not. So it's like
you can't even compare. Yeah, if they're looking for one thing, they go that way. If they're looking for something else, they go with you.
I definitely feel like it was a roll of dice for sure between us two. But what was like keeping me positive with just like whatever happens, it doesn't really matter. My career's not ending here.
That's right.
For sure. And to be honest, when I was on the stage, they said my name, but like nothing went through my brain. Like I thought like it was the opposite. I thought he got it for some reason. Like I thought he said we have to cut somebody, so it has to be Sheaden. But like I got it, and I was like,
"Oh, were you like, congratulations, Romeo?" And he's like, "No, it's you."
Yeah, it was like, whoa! It was just random. It was for sure crazy.
And that's kind of an overwhelming feeling to realize you're going to do the live shows, which was a very fun summer.
Oh,
for
definitely.
you guys, it must have been like just dance camp.
Yeah. It was, but since like we're all together and we made a bunch of new friendships, it was definitely easier with all of them.
That's so sweet. Now, this transition with your all-stars or your mentors happened in between when you guys taped Academy and then came to the live shows. Was that a tough transition for you to realize that you're having a different all-star?
Well, how it happened was, so after Academy week, they gave me a phone call. And they wanted me to stop by CBS, where we shoot, So You Think. And then Marko was there. And Jeff was telling me, hey, so looks like you got a new mentor. And I was like, at first I was like,
wait,
whoa.
Huh?
but then me and Marko literally hit it right off the bat. We were showing each other's like baby pictures, and we literally looked the exact same.
It was like baby Marko, baby.
it was crazy. And then like he even gave me like his baby picture, and I took the exact pose, and it looked like
It was like it was meant to be anyway. I know
for
it's
sure.
one of those things I don't even necessarily think. I feel like Marko was always there from the get-go. And then sometimes I'll look at an old clip and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There was a transition. But Marko is a great all-star, very supportive.
Amazing.
And I'm sure he was there for you even if you felt a little bit like, wait a minute, I have a different all-star?
Yeah, no way. He was supportive like 100% way through. He was like making me feel as comfortable as possible. It felt like I was like friends with him for like half my life, for sure.
That's awesome. Do you stay in touch with him?
Oh, for sure. Just recently I took he taught a class and I took it, and like we talk like frequently. I talked to him like a few weeks ago, not too long ago. Yeah.
I just saw him. He was sort of assisted choreographed at the So You Think You Can Dance tour.
Yeah.
So I went to see the final send off before they all went out on tour for season 16. And
Yeah, for sure.
he's great. I mean,
He's amazing.
he's just doing. I mean, he's still dancing, but he's choreographing and he's working behind the scenes too, which
And
is
he's
incredible.
like, he's so smart. Like he's doing like filmmaking right now. Like he just is picking off everything and like combining it all to one.
Yeah, we've had him here in studio, and his story is incredible too.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
just his whole journey to get where he is today. What do you think that you learned on So You Think that has carried you throughout the rest of your career?
Oh, for sure. Well, for me, starting off, So You Think, I was definitely very shy.
I
was
remember that in the press
yeah,
line.
yeah. I say this all the time, but like I was like a snail with a shell on his back, and I like to hide in my shell a lot. But more recently, So You Think opened me up a lot more, and with like all the cameras in my face, I like started to like that actually, and that's what brought me to where I'm now with acting as well. Because after So You Think, I liked opening up acting, and I started doing acting more. So
Yeah, it's interesting, the natural progression and everything. And I think what people need to remember too, when people are like, why do dancers want to be actors? They're already actors
yeah.
to begin with, because you have to portray, oftentimes, especially with So You Think, they want a story to the song. And you've got to be able to portray that emotion, because if you're just going to get up and dance, it could be spectacular, but it doesn't necessarily make you feel something. So you guys are actors already, which is incredible. Do you stay in touch with any of the other top 10?
Oh yeah, like Kita, Tahani, like we're all like very close friends. If we see each other, like it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, you guys, a couple of you run in the same circles. Tahani,
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And Keita's up north, but he's down here quite a bit.
JT, yeah, like I see that little kid a lot. He's growing so much. It's crazy.
He is. You know, he just finished the Broadway workshop for The Music Man. So if anyone didn't know that, I did know, and his mom was like, don't say anything. So I was like, I won't, because obviously they wanted to just wait until it was all over.
They're amazing. Whenever they come out here, we always have to hook up something, get some food. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah, you guys are all so talented. I love just like watching what everyone does. One of the things I noticed in sort of the 6 months after the show, I felt like you were everywhere, like every commercial, and they had like, you know, a 12-year-old dancing, it was you, or a music video, it was you, which is fantastic. And you've kind of consistently worked all the way through.
Yeah, for sure. I think what So You Think is good for as well as connections. So it gets you other places and gets you seen by other things, which was really helpful, and also which made it help me open up my shell when it opened up. So when I was in auditions, I felt a lot more confident.
Right.
And that's what is like a big deal in auditions, because if you don't feel confident, like what's, you know.
Well, and
you
that's
know
the thing too, like you guys were all, I think the youngest was 10 at the time. So you guys are all, let's say 10 to like 13, 14, and you're on live TV. Did it sink in that you guys were performing on live TV at that time, or you're just like, this is great, I get to dance, this is fun?
I think during my head at that young age, it did not sink in.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, like right now, if I was to do the same thing, there would be a way different like mindset for sure. But yeah, I think I was just dancing. I was just doing what I love to do. Yeah.
There's something about being young and having no fear. I think we gain fear as we get older, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I love just seeing all of you guys so young, just conquering everything. That as adults, we'd be like, how do you do that? Wait, everyone's watching you though.
Yeah.
No, you guys knew exactly what to do. You're like, I'm just here to dance and have a good time.
Yeah, because back then it's like you have no fears, you know. I mean, I'm still young and I still have.
I know you're not old by any means,
but I mean, you know, I'm starting to get the teenage age, and like I'm starting to like be more aware of life. Yeah.
I think we start comprehending what fear is. Like as a kid, maybe you're fearful, but then you just kind of go, well, I have a dance to do, so I'll just go out there and do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think as an adult, we start thinking, oh, but I'm nervous, instead of thinking about the dance or what you have to do.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
You've worked with a ton of musical artists, like top of their game. Who has been probably the most significant for you over the years?
Got it. Well, there's a bunch. There was like
I love that there's a bunch.
Well, yeah, it was just
we can talk about all of them.
not that there's a lot, but like they were all like good.
Yeah.
Like DJ Snake filling it with Colin Tilley. He's the director. He is amazing. Like he knows what he wants to do. He filmed with Selena Gomez, Cardi B. He films with so many like amazing artists, and it was just an amazing film with him. Also with Chris Brown, because he's like his own director.
Oh, okay.
it's
Tell us
crazy.
about this, because I think we have one. I think we have Tempo. That we can show you. And when it comes to Tempo, or when it comes to working with Chris Brown, talk about what he's like on set, because he obviously has a vision.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So it's crazy to watch Chris Brown work, because like he also really knows what he wants, and since he's like that high up in the chamber, he can like do everything himself. So like even like during every section, he wants to make sure he saw what the camera looks like. He wants to make sure it's filmed correctly. He wants to make sure all the timing is perfect. So it was like he's basically doing every single job for himself.
That's important, though, as an artist, even if you're working with a director, but understanding what that look is, because at the end of the day, it's his name on it as an artist, and that's what people, they're not going to, most of the time, they don't necessarily look at the director and go, who directed that music video? They didn't do a good shot. They're going to say, why did Chris Brown have them do that shot?
Yes.
So I imagine you learn a lot from watching someone like Chris Brown on set.
Of course, yeah. Like his work ethic is just amazing. Like he just like is super straightforward. He always wants to get his work done. He wants it to be the best as possible, which is what I strive to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Tempo, the Katy was in that with you, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of crossover over the years.
For sure.
And you did two videos with Chris, right?
Yes. Tempo and Party.
Party. You guys were pretty little. That one was like
that was
pretty
like
soon after, so you think.
Yeah, that was with Kita and Tanya as well.
Yeah, I
so
kind of remember that one, and I was like, look at all of them. They're all out there working, which is incredible.
It's always been a lot of fun working with all the amazing people from So You Think, because like whenever we're together, we'll have a fun time no matter what we do.
Did you work with any of the choreographers that you saw on So You Think outside of the show?
Yes. Well, not technically worked, but take class from like Luther Brown. Yeah, like he's
Lou Brown is
talented.
Beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad he finally got an Emmy nomination. I felt like it was so overdue.
Yes, for sure.
And that his work is being recognized. I feel like his work gets passed over because people think it's easy. It's not easy.
It's like, it's so not weird, but like different in a good way.
Quirky, funny.
Yeah.
Personality.
Like the moves like he does are like different, completely different.
Yeah, I mean, he really is. They're original.
Yeah.
He's unlike any other urban dance choreographer out there, and I love watching his classes because you just have to listen to the
Yeah, he hits all the beats for sure.
Yeah, and sometimes he goes like under the beats, so you have to be able to hear the musicality of that. You can't just. I'm a very literal dancer, so if I need to just hear the 8 count. If I don't hear the 8 count, I'm a mess. So I'd be a disaster in Luther's class.
No, I definitely feel that too, because like. He would just hit the most like random beats out of nowhere. Like he'll just be grooving and then just hit something like out of nowhere. And like you have to like catch on to his speed too when he teaches, because he teaches like really fast.
Oh. And
a lot. So it's like you just gotta keep moving. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta, and you have to see where he's having those like little quirky, like, funny moments too. Because when you catch him and you do them right,
it's kind of like he's kind of like the Brian of hip hop, Brian Friedman.
Yes.
Brian just a little bit more like. Jazz and contemporary dancer.
And his heels, he does a great heels class.
But yeah, it's kind of there's a connection.
Have you
there.
worked with Brian?
I've definitely taken classes from Brian. Right after the show, I've been like kind of like keeping up with him.
Oh, that's
and
good.
He's a lot. Like his classes, they'll make you be on the floor and stand up in less than a second. So it's like
you better be ready. Yeah, you can't go in here like I'm tired. I didn't get enough sleep.
No, yeah, for sure.
That's
crazy.
Incredible. Yeah, and that's what I love too, because your whole generation really helped pioneer the whole like these routines are getting videoed in class and putting them out on Instagram. What kind of feedback are you getting? Are you reading your notifications? Are you someone that kind of backs off? Because it's different for everyone.
Well, yeah, I don't want to focus on them because. You know, they can always like change your mind about things.
Right.
But I definitely love the positive feedback. I always take that in because I'm super grateful for every single thing I've had in my past, and I can't wait to see what happens,
Yeah. Now, do you hear a lot from like the older generation, like, why are you videotaping every class? Are you taking classes that aren't always filmed?
Oh yeah, I'm taking classes that aren't always filmed, of course, because I'm trying to always train as much as possible.
Right.
But I understand where they're coming from for filming classes, but also like in our generation, social media is a way of us to like book jobs
and
so
to communicate.
Yeah, of course. So like I get it of like filming classes is like that's not what dancing is, but like it also helps us as kids do what we love to do in other ways, shape, or form, like film in front of like bigger cameras. Yeah.
Right. And that's very helpful because when you do get on a show, say it's a So You Think You Can Dance or a World of Dance or Dancing with the Stars, you are expected to hit a camera. Now, choreographer will say, I want you to hit camera 1, camera 2, but you should know how to hit that camera and where to nail it instead of being like trying to look all over the place for it. That does give you great practice with something like that and sort of hit those moments and have that personality and give those acting moments too.
It also helps us like be used to the camera instead of like being shy and like straying away from it. Like if we show our presence to the camera whenever like something actually does like really big happen, we'll be ready for it.
Yeah, I always like having this discussion because I do hear from older generations when people are like, well, I don't think they should film everything, but there are definitely some benefits. And I think if you kind of find a happy medium between the two,
for sure.
I think there's benefits on both sides. Of days when you just need to practice, you don't need a camera. You're trying to work out a move, you don't need everyone.
For sure. Yeah, because I'm on a team called Gravy Babies. It's a team in the community. They're a really amazing team. And like I get my training in like a lot during the weekends. So like I train with them a lot, and then when I need to get some like classes in LA, I drive to LA and hit some class videos up there where they are filmed.
That's perfect. Yeah. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Good question on this. Are you homeschooled? Are you going to school?
I'm homeschooled now. I've been homeschooled for the past like 3-4 years. I started because of So You Think.
Yeah.
So like during 6th grade, towards like the middle end of the year, is where I didn't make it in LA. And so I was like, what am I gonna do? I guess I'm gonna have to go to New York. But then I'm gonna have to miss like 3 weeks of school, and that's a lot.
It's a lot of school.
I've already been like 21 days absent or something like that, like a lot of days. And then we were getting notes in the mail about parents. And so we were like, we're gonna have to do something. And then so we just backed out for like a year, and we're like, we'll see what happens in this year. If it goes good, then we can stay with it. But if nothing happens, we can go back to school. And so I started becoming homeschooled for So You Think. And I've been homeschooled since.
And it works well for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if maybe I go to high school for senior year, because I'm a sophomore right now. So if I go to high school, we'll see.
You're thinking about it, maybe?
Maybe. Just to finish off the year.
Would you go to like your hometown high school, kind of like all your friends are there, and you could do all the senior stuff. The senior stuff is kind of fun. I will say that. Like
you don't have to do as much work as
Well, I wasn't thinking that, but I was thinking.
Well, you never know.
You don't have to do as much, but I was thinking like there's usually like a senior week of activities, and there's senior prom, and there's football games and all that stuff that you just kind of like are just kind of fun to do, just to have that experience. But if you miss it, it's all good too.
It's all good.
It's all good. You'll survive. I mean, when you're like 30, you won't be like, I wish I went to high school prom.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't really think about that much. I think it's more in high school you think about it, and then you're like, doesn't affect you one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm not really even a party person.
Right.
Like that. So like, if not, it's fine.
Yeah, your life is going to be okay.
Yeah, it's not going to make the hugest difference.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. I know you worked also, and I like hearing about some of the female musicians you've worked with, because you worked with Katy Perry, you've worked with Gwen Stefani.
Yeah.
What is it like working with them?
It's definitely different in a way, because with Gwen Stefani, we didn't really experience her until the end.
Right, when you're like putting everything together, dress rehearsal.
Yeah, so it was like, she's so like professional with it too, so she just pops right in, and then we just do what we have to do, and she does what she has to do.
Did someone else stand in for her when you guys were rehearsing?
Kind of. The choreographer kind of stood in, or like an assistant. But yeah, it was just like a really professional aspect of it.
They had like a put-in rehearsal. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And literally, they just put Gwen Stefani right in there. That was for Jingle Bell. Jingle Bell?
Yeah, Jingle Bell.
Jingle Bell,
yeah.
Jingle Bell. I can't say it. I said Jungle Bell. There you go.
Oh, yeah, with Bailey.
Bailey.
Yeah.
See, this is what I love, because I feel like in like 10 years, I'm going to have this treasure trove of like all these great interviews with you guys, because you won't be teenagers anymore. You'll all be adults out there working in the industry and conquering it all. And it's amazing to me that this group of young dancers, you guys are working so much. You're all great kids too. You're all great.
Thank you.
Young adults, I should say. You're not kids anymore. But how do you keep your head on straight? Because it's easy in this industry to go crazy.
Oh, for sure. I definitely think it's also like a need of motivation. So like my parents, they motivate me a lot, which keeps me straight too. And also do kid activities, of course. Like I play a lot of video games during my time.
Of course.
So like after I'm homeschooled, after I do school, I play some video games, and then during the night I take classes.
Yep.
So it's like just a equal of both.
You kind of have like a focus. You're not like you know you have to get your work done, and then your video games is probably your escape, and then you're like, okay, I'm ready to move.
For sure.
It's like kind of all of that.
Equal.
I know. I was asking Jingle Ball. I know I called it Jungle Bell and Jingle Bell and
Jingle Ball.
Jungle Bell, Jingle. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it is Jingle Ball. How about Katy Perry? Because in terms of, did you get more interaction with her? I feel like she would be a really fun artist to work with.
No, yeah, for sure. So it was kind of cool because during the rehearsals, she acts like kind of like us, like as like
she's
like,
young and fun, and
she even like just bought pizza and started eating pizza during rehearsal. It was like, but she was still professional about it though, which was really cool. So like we would get her work done, we would talk a bunch, and she was even talking to like the parents, trying to make a personal connection. So it wasn't just like a business thing; it was also personal. So like that's what was fun about that one.
What did you learn from working with her?
I mean, not to take everything too seriously.
Yeah,
because she's a lot of fun for sure. She was just making everything fun, and then when we had to work, she would work.
Yeah, so she was like, she could snap right in and start focusing and making all of that sort of happen.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of collaborations too, which I love. I know Matt Stefani is always out there doing collabs with you guys, and you have someone that you do a lot of collabs with, Nicole.
Yes.
Yeah. How did this whole thing come about? Because if I even hit Google, it's like Sheaden and Nicole, Sheaden and Nicole.
Yeah. Okay. So I forgot exactly how it happened, but I think from what I remember, we were doing a couple things with Montana Tucker.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah, and then she just paired us up together, and that's what really started it. I'm surprised like no one like really put us together before, but it was definitely her that like initiated it, and then we just started to keep going from there, and then that's when it like all happened.
I would love to there's Nicole. I would love to pick Montana's brain to like what was it as to why she put the two of you together, or thought like these two. I think stylistically, because that's really a big part of it.
It was for sure like it was just. I think it was just like a random thing, and then it just led to something great.
It was magic when she saw that on set.
For sure.
So what is it about Nicole that you think works so well?
I feel like it's like a negative and a positive make a positive. What was it? Positive make a. Well, it was like
I'm like, don't ask me something.
Oh, it was like a negative and a positive equal out.
Okay,
there it is.
Okay, I was like, so, don't ask me on
like
that.
For me, I'm.
Shake hole.
I'm more of like a when I dance I'm like more focused too, but when she's with me she makes it like a lot more fun. Like she's the person that like picks me up, and then she like has like the peppy side of a lot of it.
Yes.
And then I'm more of like the focused side, not that she's not focused, but like I'm more of like the serious type. So like it equals, you know?
Right.
It was just like a perfect pair.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite collab so far with her?
Oh wow!
Out of all of them.
Just recently, we just did a Will I Am music video with me and her, and that was a lot of fun because they gave us the music the day of, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys can just freestyle whatever you guys want to do." But then we're like, "How about we just make a bunch of choreo to this?" And we literally made like a good like a minute and a half or something like that in less than like half an hour.
You can put something together like that quick.
Yeah, well, because just our mindsets, we were so focused in it, and then it just went by super quickly. So that's why it was like, that was probably the coolest one so far.
So who takes, is it a partnership, or does someone take the lead on choreo, or is it like someone likes the song a little bit more or has an idea and they lead the way, and it just, the next collab, it might be you leading the way?
I definitely think it's more equal. We just throw in whatever we want. With the song, whatever we think fits. If they like it, then we do it. If they don't, then it's like nothing bad ever happens. But yeah, it's definitely like whatever we feel that we like to do, and we like to do it together, then we'll do it.
So this begs the question, and I'm sure you get it all the time, World of Dance. Have you auditioned? Have you thought about it?
For the previous seasons, I've definitely got asked, and it just like, I don't know, I don't want to do it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So if I'm having fun and I'd love to do it, of course, but I don't want to do it for the money, you know? I just want to do it if I'm having a great time doing it with everyone that I would do it with.
Right.
A great time, yeah, then yeah, of course.
Because I hear a lot of people enjoy it after the whole thing is over, because it's such a global show. They've really enjoyed the feedback from the fans.
Of course, yeah.
And that's been kind of like the big win in the end, because only one person can win the $1 million, which is amazing, of course. But you have to get through all the levels and everything else. But having the exposure on the show, to me, has been listening to everyone. They've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
Shay Cole, come on. Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. It's a big we'll see.
Yeah.
Big question mark. We'll leave it there.
We'll see about that
I know. I'm like, they're casting season 4 right now. Oh. Okay. Anyway, we'll go into some of your acting. Let's talk about that. Because what was the first kind of acting job that you did? And do you go towards comedy or drama?
I definitely love to do both comedy and drama. But my first acting job, you could say, was a short film called Bangarang. It was like a prequel of Hook. Yeah. So one of the directors, his name is Dante Bosco. He's the person that played Rufio, or Rufus, you could say. But that's the character I played, and it was like the lead character. So it was crazy because like when he filmed that, he was a kid, and now he's like an adult, and now it's like he passed it down to generation. So like I felt like it was my turn to like prove something. So like he just made it super comforting when I was playing the character. So yeah, it was really cool.
And did that sort of inspire you thinking like, I might want to do a little bit more of this?
Yeah. So because I was actually the first one into the actual room for the audition. So like I was the first stuff. So I was like, I feel good about this, you know? And after the feeling of auditioning, I felt like I had to do it again and again and again and again. Not even just to book it, but just to put my name out there.
Right.
So like I felt like the more and more I audition, the more and more people will know me. And not even if I'm right for the role, but maybe I am right for a different role that they're putting together.
Yeah, that's what everyone needs to remember. It's like every audition is not necessarily for that particular film or TV show. They may think of you 6 months down the line and go,
you never know.
You know what? You weren't right for this, but you're totally right for something else I have in the works. What are you sort of like the movies and the TV shows that you like to watch that would be a dream to be on?
Yeah. I've been previously watching The Good Place. It's an amazing, Kristen Bell.
Amazing show. Yeah. Kristen Bell is fantastic.
Not even just a show to be on that, but like that's that type of like expectation.
Quirky, funny, well written.
Yeah. They got like 100 on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
Yeah, and they're in their last season, so you need to get on now.
I know. I've been watching it, like, but not even just that show, but like a show like that.
Right.
You know, like just that good of like everyone's loving it. Not even just for like the script, the characters, but like just how like everything is put together. Like the camera work is like amazing. The props are amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I visited the Good Place set. It's really fun.
Really?
It is. It's so...
That's crazy.
It's exactly what you expect. It's at the Universal backlot.
Oh, okay.
Towards like the Burbank side, not the Universal City side. And I mean, it is so funny because...
That's crazy.
They like have like the, you know, it's not real clam chowder, but they have like the fountain, which is supposedly like clam chowder and everything. And you go past it and all the ice cream places and the train. Yeah. And it was a super fun set visit. It was during like an Emmys for your consideration, so the cast came and did like a Q&A and everything. But
that's dope.
So cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was one of those that you're kind of, your head explodes. I'm like, I love this so much. And Kristen Bell I love too. So
I'm a little jealous now.
Yeah, I know. How about film wise? Are there any films that you sort of gravitate towards?
I'm definitely like really open to like styles of acting, like comedy and drama. But like, I mean, I'll take like a Disney job or a Nickelodeon job, but I've been focusing more like towards like Netflix and stuff, because like Netflix is like, I don't know, I think like that's the new type of like cable used to be like really big at one point. I feel like Netflix is like the new thing.
But we have Disney Plus, as we know. We were talking
Disney
about
Plus. Yeah, Disney Plus.
Where everyone has a streaming service. But the interesting thing is that Kenny Ortega, who for a long time was at Disney Plus, has moved over to Netflix.
Oh.
Do you sing?
You know, I can sing in the shower.
Okay.
I can sing in the shower.
You can make that happen. Because he's going to have a whole slate of musicals over there. Disney Plus, of course, is going to have their whole Disney amazingness that they always do. Because they have High School Musical, the musical.
Oh, yeah, that one, the new one.
High School Musical The musical, the series
Yeah,
is
that's
what it's called. Yes. I just interviewed Zach Woodley, who is the choreographer for that, this morning. And he's ready. He's ready for all of us to see it. So, but it's good to be, I think this is a good time to be a dancer in the industry, especially if you have several other layers of talent, because between Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Netflix.
Yeah. There's so many like platforms.
Yeah, you're very employable, which is a good thing.
Yeah. It's like, it's super amazing too, because it's like such more easy access than it used to be. Not like I'm like old or anything, but like
you're not.
I used to grow up on television, so like watching television, I mean, and like Netflix is just so much easier than just to pick up your phone, click Netflix, and just watch something.
Right.
Than having to wait for something to come on, you know?
And it's interesting, the stuff that clicks. Like sometimes you think like, oh, this is going to be a huge TV show, and it isn't necessarily. But then something on Netflix, like some of their 90-minute romantic comedies, people latch right onto, and they're like, this is the greatest thing, and everyone watches it.
Yeah, like Stranger Things. Like the budget was super low in the first season, and I was like, it just popped. Everyone loved it. I mean, I loved it. Of course.
I loved it. Seasons 1 and 3 are my favorite.
Yeah.
Season 2 was good, but I felt like 3 went back to the nostalgia of 1, but the budget of 2.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And I'm ready for season 4. I saw they just posted not too long ago, like 2 weeks
teaser?
ago. Yeah, for season 4 already. Like, that's crazy.
They got to film fast because everyone's growing up so quickly too. Because when you hire a cast that's like 13 to 18. Everyone's growing, and you have to be like, well, we can't have them be like 30
forever,
still in high school. That was 90210 back in the day. So how about choreographers? Who do you feel like is the choreographer that like mentored you or really sort of helped put your dance career on the map?
Wow. I wouldn't say there's a specific, but there's definitely like a bunch, like Matt for sure.
Matt Stefanina, yep.
Yeah. Ian Eastwood. I'd love to take Ian's class for sure. Not even like for exposure or anything. Just his style is so amazing.
He loves the artistry of dance.
Yeah.
Like he's not just in it to be famous or anything else. Like he talks a lot about that. We've had him here, and I could have listened to him. I probably just asked 3 questions, and I was like, just talk, because no one wants to listen to me.
No, yeah, he's like focused on like different styles, which is crazy. Like just recently he started doing light feet. It's a type of style grown in like New York and type. But
what is light feet like? What would it look like? How can you describe it?
It's kind of like locking.
Okay.
Mixed with a little bit of house dancing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to like search that online.
Yeah. So it's like, it's crazy because he always wants to like learn something different. Like every style. Like once he thinks he like kind of mastered it, that's when he switches to something else.
He's like the eternal student, which is incredible.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's what I love about him. Oh, this is light feet?
Yeah. It just like a little bit like locking, just a bunch of jumping. Yeah.
See, this is our dance education. This is why I love the show. I'm like, this is how I stay up on what everything is happening.
Yeah.
And it's kind of East Coast based.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it was like originated.
Yeah. And then it makes its way across the country and everything else. Anyone else besides Ian and Matt?
Trisha for sure.
Trisha Miranda. Were you in any of like the wildebeest? Because I know a lot of you guys came up in sort of the wildebeest and everything else.
Well, yeah, for me, I was never a part of like I'm a Beast or anything, but I definitely always supported Will. And that's what also I really like about Will is like I was never really a part of I'm a Beast, but like he made me feel like I was in a way. Like he would always include me in things like that were like for I'm a Beast. And it was like always cool to like be there for it.
I know. I love what he's doing over at I'm a Beast, and it's just I feel like they're killing it.
They're
they're totally growing. What do you think? I always like to ask, like, you're still young, but you start thinking, as you get into high school, and especially junior year, everyone starts asking, are you going to college? What are you going to be when you grow up? And it's all these like crazy questions because it's a lot to ask, and things change so much when you're in your 20s. But if you could say right now, you're 18, you're on your own. Are you continuing on in the dance industry? Are you thinking about college? Are you going to do it later?
Well, college is like a thing that my parents really want me to do, and I always want to make my parents happy. So like, if doing college like makes them happy, of course I'm going to do it.
Right.
So I mean, you never know what can happen. I could book like the craziest thing in the world,
and it takes you away from.
And I can't do college.
But you can do online classes.
I was about to say online classes, but like, I never really know if it's right, then I'll do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's always what like the future holds, of course. But if I was 18 on my own, I would probably pursue dancing.
Yeah.
Because like it just like, by myself.
It's in your blood.
It's my motivation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But parents, they do have college on the radar. So would you stay in California? Would you do the whole college experience and live?
I would definitely stay in California.
Yeah.
I'm not the type to like move away for like any other reason than like dancing or acting. But I mean, you never know.
I know things change, and that's the thing too. Oftentimes you go to college for like a year, and you're like, this isn't the right college for me.
I want to transfer out.
I transferred. I was like, it happens a lot, and then you think this is not my major. I think I need to be in something else. And so I was like, but it is funny because all of a sudden it's like when you hit 16, everyone's like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Who do you want to be?
And that's the crazy question. Like, I don't know.
No, and I always think now, because I think after experiencing my 20s too, I'm like, I changed so much, and you went in different directions, and sometimes you circle back to your college major, or you don't, or you go to grad school, or you go back to what you loved it doesn't matter. It's like
it's crazy for the people that like stick with something through like their teens to their adulthood. Like, that's just like insane. You must have like truly been the best at your craft and loved your craft. Yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah, I always think of like athletes, like ones that go to the Olympics at like 16, 17, like gymnasts and stuff. And then sometimes they go to and do NCAA. Yeah. Or sometimes they're just like, I quit, I'm done, I'm retired. And you're like, you're retired at 18. How is that possible?
Winning gold medals and then you just stop.
You're just like, I'm done. I'm totally done. I'm not going to do it anymore. So yeah, but that's the thing. Like, that's what's so great. There's so many different opportunities. And I do think that now that there's flexibility with college, like when I went to college, like you had to go to college. You could like live at home and go to college, or you just moved away and you went to college, but that was it.
Yeah, that's what's like the easiest about my like online school too. I can do like whenever.
So good.
As long as I keep up my grade. I don't need my mom. I just need a computer, or like even I can do it on my phone. So it's like easier now.
It is. Do you feel this is kind of an interesting question, because some people feel like they're learning less in homeschooling, and other people feel if their program is strong that they're ahead of where they are and learning more.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm more of like a visual learner. I'm not really like a reading type person. Like, I feel like I get distracted when reading. So on mine, I watch videos, like basically like a teacher. So like a teacher gives me a lesson, I answer questions, and I do a quiz on them. So it's like I basically feel like I'm learning the exact same, just at home.
But that's actually good, because you can tailor. When you're in a classroom, the teacher's going to teach the way they're going to teach. And I'm a visual learner too, so if you're a visual learner, being able to sort of tailor your education, you're probably going to retain a lot more.
Yeah, that's why like during my first homeschool experience, I was on a different platform, which was more reading based. And that's why I was like not falling behind, but definitely not where I could be in like school based.
You get a little distracted. It's easy to get distracted too, where you're like, oh, let me just think about this over here.
And then right when I switched, like everything was like way better.
It clicked in. Yeah, and I think that's what's so important. I remember JT was here and he said, you know what? I did homeschool. Yeah. It wasn't working for me. He's doing a charter school that kind of has a flexibility of like coming in and going out, because he was just falling behind. That's what I love. Education now is like you can tailor it to how you learn and find out what works for you.
It's so different for every single person. It's like
crazy. It really is. You seem to be very interested in what happens behind the camera. So do you see yourself, as your career's going on, maybe moving more into choreographing, creative directing, directing? You have a curiosity there. I've heard you mention it.
I don't really think I would be that type of person to be able to direct something, because I'm not really good like by myself. But I feel like if you're gonna be in the business like this, you kind of have to know every single like position.
Right.
So like if I'm doing a dance job and I know the position the director's in, it would move everything so much faster. I feel like just to wait for the lens being changed, and then right when the lens changed, I'll know right away, and then I can hop right in and know every shot. I'm not necessarily the type of person to do that type of stuff, but just to understand it, I feel like it's a plus.
And choreographers oftentimes are directors, because you are directing the movement of a scene. You may not have the entire creative control of like the whole movie or TV show or video, but you have control in that moment, and you do have to know the shots and where the camera angles are. So I think that's why choreographers often develop into really good directors, or having a good eye for it.
Even like, who is it? Adam Sandler? Like, he's like a crazy actor, but basically a director for all of his movies.
That's right. He knows how to direct himself very well. Hard thing to learn, but once you learn like your best angles.
Yeah.
Or and I think the other thing too is always having, and this is why choreographers have assistants, but if you're directing yourself, you need to have someone on the set to be like, you need to do one more take. If you're directing yourself, like that wasn't your best take. I know you can act or dance better, and then do that, because I think he does that, and I think that's why his films work so well.
Yeah, because he's running them and they look amazing. So.
Yep, and that's where when you produce and direct your own films, that's where you make your fortune.
Yeah.
That's always the really good thing. It's always a good lesson, honestly. Yeah. So I just want to ask, in terms of like dream projects, do you have a dream project? We'll throw it out there to the universe.
For sure.
Make it happen.
For dancing wise, definitely just keep up like performing with artists as much as possible. That would be just like a plus. But for acting wise, to maybe like get into like a major show or even movie, just to jump to it right away. But definitely like a series regular would be really cool.
Series regular on Netflix, right? Well, let's put that out there.
Hey.
I will tell you, I love laughing about this now, but we have manifested a lot of dreams in this chair right here in this studio.
Dang. And this chair special or something?
Yes, there's something special about the chair. And then I go and I pull the clip up and I'm like, bam, it happened.
Hey, cross my fingers now.
Right?
You never know.
You don't. And that's why I'm
crazy.
always like, say it out loud, because the more you say it out loud, the more likely, instead of keeping, we like to keep our secrets and our like wishes and our dreams inside. But I'm like, if we're yelling them, maybe someone will hear us too and be like, we'll hire you. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, if you're watching.
Let's make this happen. I want to pull another clip. I want in like 3 months to be like, look what Sheaden's doing.
I'll try. Let's keep it up.
So good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is just so much fun catching up with you after 3 years.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8 inches of height.
It's actually crazy how much I grew. I'm not going to lie. My legs are actually hurting now. Like they've been hurting.
You feel the growing pains?
Yeah. No, I've been feeling them a lot.
Yeah.
Even like the other day, I felt them in my arm. Like, yeah.
Another growth spurt's coming. That's what's happening.
I'm not trying to go that fast though. I don't want to go that fast.
It happens at the weirdest time. I was a runt at 16, and then all of a sudden between like 16 and 16 and a half, I was like, whoop. I mean, and I didn't grow to that tall. I'm 5'3", but I was like, okay, that was the growing, pains.
That's your growing period.
That's it. That was my spurt. Here I am, 5'3". We're stopping here. But you probably have another couple growth spurts. Guys grow to like 19. So
that's 4 years. That's like.
Yeah.
I'll give it a good 3 inches a year.
When I see you, you'll be like, next, you'll be like 6'4".
Okay. That's a stretch.
That's a stretch.
That's high. That's tall. I wish.
You never know. We'll come back here anytime. Seats always open. We'll continue to manifest all of those dreams.
Thank you so much.
If anybody is not following you, tell them where they can find you on Instagram.
You can find me on almost every platform at Sheaden_Gabriel. And then on like YouTube, it's just my name, Sheaden Gabriel.
Easy enough to find. You guys.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, you guys, we will be back next week with a live show. In case I didn't say it at the top of the show, which I don't think I did, I'm out of town. We pre-taped this.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. But I'll be back with the live show next week, which will be the first week of November, of course. We want to thank Dance Network and Popcorn Talk. For all of your dance news, check out dancenetwork.tv. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.